Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla and it's time to crack into a good book. So today's video is going to be the first part of a book haul. So I don't think I've posted a book haul since like late September, early October. So I've kind of been accumulating books for a bit and I'm going to probably split this into two videos again. So yeah, I have some books that I've bought like starting late September up through now, and we'll go ahead and jump in. This particular video is going to be some books that I've won in giveaways, as well as books that I bought in a library sale. So these are kind of interesting ones, I guess, with the library sale ones in particular, because some of them were like me just being like, oh, I recognize that title or the author, so I'm gonna pick it up, even though sometimes I don't really know anything about it. So that is fun. But before we get started, leave a tiger emoji in the comments to let me know that you're here. So that is mildly relevant because I'm about to show you a book. So we'll start with the books that I want in giveaways. So we'll begin with a couple of like paranormal romance, urban fantasy books. So the first one I'll talk about, hence the tiger, is Breaking Badger by Shelly Laurenston. So this is a book in the Honey Badger Chronicles, which I believe involves honey badger shifters, which is kind of glorious. I'm not sure what the tiger has to do with this. It looks like this, I guess this is a finished copy. Okay, anyway, that's exciting. So basically, I think this is not the first book in the series. Let's see. I think that this is the fourth book in the series. I have not read any of it, so hopefully that won't be a problem. Usually it's not with paranormal romance, but anyway, the synopsis here. It's instinct that drives Finn to rescue a bunch of hard battling honey badgers. The Siberian tiger shifter just can't bear to see his fellow shifters harmed. But no way can Finn have a house full of honey badgers when he also has two brothers with no patience. Things just go from bad to worse when the badgers, rudely ejected from his home, turn out to be the only ones who can help him solve a family tragedy. He's just not sure he can even get back into the badgers' good graces, since badgers lack graces of any kind. Mads knows her teammates aren't about to forgive the cats that were so rude to them, but Moody Finn isn't so bad, and he's cute. The badger part of her understands Finn's burning need to avenge his father's death. After all, vengeance is her favorite pastime. So Mads sets out to help Finn settle his family's score, which has its perks since she gets to avoid her own family drama. Besides, fighting side by side with Finn is her kind of fun, especially when she can get in a hot and heavy snuggle with her very own growling, eye-rolling, and utterly irresistible kitty cat. So this sounds delightful. I mean, I am always up for a good shifter paranormal romance, but I really like that we have honey badgers, and I find the title of this to be rather hilarious. So I'm excited for this. Hopefully it'll be a good series, and then I can like catch up on the books that I've missed, and it looks like she's got a whole bunch of books out. I can't remember. I think I've looked at picking up the Pride series by this author before, and then either did or did not. I don't actually remember. I may have it on Kindle, but you know, that's kind of like, who knows what's all on there. But anyway, yeah, I think this will be a fun book. So the other paranormal romance, admittedly, I don't know if this is paranormal romance or like romance with paranormal elements. So this goes on sale in February next year. So I just won this, but this is Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher. So basically we have a bewitching new paranormal rom-com series about being sexy, single, and supernatural in New York City. We have magicless witch Violet, who wants nothing to do with alpha wolf shifter Lincoln, the man who broke her fragile teenage heart. But when the two of them are forced by arcane supernatural laws to find mates, Violet and Lincoln agree to fake date their way to fake mating in order to conjure themselves some time. But the joke's on them. When old feelings make a reappearance along with Violet's magic, they both realize that there's nothing fake about their feelings. But there are old secrets and looming threats that could snatch away their happily ever after again. So this sounds really fun. I am really glad that I won this. I had my eye on this already, and I was like, yes, I'm so excited about this. But it seems like it's going to be a fun time. I am definitely here for the fake dating trope, so it seems like this is probably going to be more of a rom-com with the paranormal elements rather than a paranormal romance, but we shall see. But yeah, I think this will be a good time. So then I have a few actual just like straight up romance books. The first one is First Love Take 2 by Sajni Patel. So this is actually a finished copy. And I think this is the second book in the series. I have not read the first one. I had my eye on it, so I'll probably pick that up at some point. But here we have, on the verge of realizing her dream to be being a doctor, Preeti should be ecstatic, but between the stress of her residency, trying to find a job, and managing her traditional no-boundaries family, her anxiety is through the roof. Relationships and love aren't even an option. Fortunately, she's finally found a new place to stay, only to discover that her new roommate is her ex. She never quite got over Daniel. Super hot, plenty of swagger, amazing cook, the guy is practically perfect. And if it weren't for their families, there might have been a happily ever after. But it's hard to keep her sanity and libido in check when the man of her dreams is sleeping mere feet away. Can they find a way to stand up and fight for each other one last time before they lose their second chance? So this sounds like a super fun romance. You know, I like that we have a bit of diversity here. I also like that, you know, Preeti is doing a residency. I feel like women in STEM is exciting. So yeah, I mean, I think this will be really fun. I don't know if you necessarily have to read the first one before this. I am not sure I will. I may just jump into this and see how it goes. So we'll find out, but this sounds like it'll be a fun time. The next book I have is And They Lived Happily Ever After by Therese Beharrie, I think. So this is on sale November 30th. Oh, the author is South African. That's cool. And it's addressing issues around the foster care system, mental health, and power of creativity. So it looks like we have some heavier themes here, but that's exciting. So we have a successful romance author, Gaia, who has a secret. Anything she dreams at night is magically written into her best-selling novels. After a lonely childhood in foster care, her dream life is the only one she trusts. Her waking life just can't compare until she gets caught in one utterly surprising, crazy passionate real-life kiss. Then we have a workaholic businessman, Jacob, who has had a crush on his brother's best friend, Gaia, since forever, but he never expected to literally share her dreams. Living out their magical nighttime fantasies is explosive, but it's their waking desire turning his single-minded ways upside down. It's making him want a future he didn't think was possible. But Gaia has secrets from her past she won't reveal, and Jacob's attempts to keep the peace in his own fractured family put him up against her deepest fears. Soon they're facing hard truths about who they are and what they're running from. And the only way to break this curse is realizing true love's real-life power. So, okay, that's interesting. So it sounds like, I don't know what is going on with the dream life and if there's, like, magical bits there, but this seems really intriguing, and it's apparently the first in a new series. So, you know, I've been kind of on the lookout for new romance authors to try, so I'm definitely excited for this one. And then the last of the romance giveaways I want is Dinner on Primrose Hill by Jodi Thomas. This is also a finished copy, I think, so that's exciting. Winning all the finished copies here. Anyway, so we have, I've never read anything in this series. That's kind of a trend, I guess, but we have Benjamin, who's pretty sure how his life will play out. He'll continue teaching chemistry in his small college and spend his free time biking through the valley. Eventually, he'll retire to putter around in his garden and greenhouse. We have his colleague, Virginia, who's not one for routines. She's chatty, spontaneous, and bubbly, and before Benjamin realizes what happened, she's talked him into collaborating on a research project, studying the mating habits of college students. Virginia knows her desire to work with Benjamin is motivated by more than the potential prize money, and hopes he might not be quite as indifferent as he seems. Then we have Ketch, who's one of Benjamin's star students, returned to college after serving in the army. He needs something to get his mind off his recent breakup, and collecting research data might do it. And there's another distraction on the horizon, a woman who looks like she, too, knows about heartbreak. And basically their project, The Chemistry of Mating, is gaining notoriety. Basically everybody, in the whole town, has become involved, and no matter what the data determines, one conclusion seems inescapable. Love follows its own rules. So that sounds super fun, actually. Yeah, I haven't read anything by this author before, but I really like that we're collecting data. Of course I love that, right? Like, I want to analyze stuff, but this seems like a really fun project to kind of get involved in, so I suspect we'll have several romance plots here, and I am definitely excited to check this one out. So the last book I wanted to give away is The Harbor by Katrine and Engberg. So this also goes on sale, February 22nd, 2022. 22222. Okay, anyway, this is a thriller. I think this is the third book in the series. Don't know anything about it. I don't know if this is translated or not. Could be. So we have a beautiful day in April when 15-year-old Oscar disappears. He never came home from school the previous afternoon, and his family is frantic. The police assume he's a runaway, a typically overlooked middle child from a wealthy, prominent family, doing what teenagers do all over the world. But what runaway would leave his parents with these brief lines typed on an unsigned piece of paper? He looked around and saw the knife that had stabbed Basil Hallward. He had cleaned it many times till there was no stain left upon it. It was bright and glistened, as it had killed the painter, so it would kill the painter's work and all that it meant. It would kill the past, and when that was dead, he would be free. It's not much to go on, but it's all they have, so with every passing hour, as the prospects of finding a missing person grow dimmer, it will have to be enough. I don't know if it's like the same detectives that are in this, and they're just different cases, or if this is separate. I don't know. We'll find out, but here we go. It is translated. So I've been interested in this author's books before. I've kind of, had my eye on both of the previous two ones, so I'm really excited that I won this. I assume it will be fine to pick this up here. We'll find out. But yeah, I am, again, always on the lookout for a good thriller series. Alright, so now we will dive into the library haul. So I've kind of separated this out by genre. Let's begin with horror, because it is right next to me. So, well, admittedly, I guess I'm not sure if these are horror or thriller, but I was able to find the entire Mr. Mercedes trilogy by Stephen King. So I know nothing about that. I think the first one is this one, Mr. Mercedes, and then I think second is Finders Keepers, and then third is End of Watch. So I'm probably just going to read you the synopsis of the first one so I don't spoil myself for the other two. But basically, this has been a series that I've been kind of intrigued by. It is apparently a show now, so there's that. We have the stolen Mercedes emerges from the pre-dawn fog and plows through a crowd of men and women on line for a job fair in a distressed American city. Then the lone driver backs up, charges again, and speeds off, leaving 8 dead and more wounded. The case goes unsolved, and ex-cop Bill Hodges is out of hope when he gets a letter from a man who loved the feel of death under the Mercedes wheels. Brady Hartsfield wants that rush again, but this time he's going big, with an attack that would take down thousands, unless Hodges and 2 unusual allies he picks up along the way can throw a wrench into his diabolical plans. Okay, maybe it's actually the Bill Hodges trilogy. That sounds more familiar. Anyway, I definitely want to check this out. I do think it leans more thriller than horror, but we'll find out. I mean, I have enjoyed some of Stephen King's books before, so I'm optimistic that I'll like these, and again, they were like $2 each. If that. I think they were like counted as mass market paperbacks, so they may have been $1 each. So really not bad at all to find all 3. That's very exciting. Okay, so then we have another, this is actually horror, I believe, but maybe toes the line between horror and thriller, but this is Broken Monsters by Lauren Beukes. So we have Detective Gabriella, who has seen a lot of bodies. But this one is unique even by Detroit standards. Half boy, half deer somehow fused together. As stranger and more disturbing bodies are discovered, how can the city hold on to a reality that is already tearing at its seams? If you're Detective Versato's geeky teenage daughter, Layla, you begin a dangerous flirtation with a potential predator online. If you're the desperate freelance journalist, Jono, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, you do whatever it takes to get the exclusive on a horrific story. If you're Thomas Keane, known on the streets as TK, you'll do whatever you can to keep your homeless family safe and find the monster who is possessed by a dream of violently remaking the world. So that sounds really intriguing, and it seems to have really good reviews. I do see on the back that it's a thoroughly modern supernatural thriller, so I'm ready for that. So yeah, again, supernatural thriller / horror, I guess, is where this kind of falls. But I've been wanting to check out some of Lauren Beukes' books before, and happened to find this, again, library sale, where it was like $2 maybe. So I'm really excited to read this. Okay, I don't know if this is like technically classified as a thriller or just like contemporary, dark contemporary, I don't know. But this is Room by Anna Donoghue. I've never read this book or seen the movie, but it was available, so I picked it up. Right? It's like one of those things I'm talking about where I'm like, I know, I recognize this name, so may as well get it. So here we have 5-year-old Jack, and Room is the entire world. It's where he was born, it's where he and his ma eat and sleep and play and learn. At night, Ma shuts him safely in the wardrobe, where Jack is meant to be asleep when old Nick visits. Room is home to Jack, but to Ma, it's the prison where she's been held for 7 years. Through her fierce love for her son, she's created a life for him in the 11 by 11 foot space. But Jack's curiosity is building alongside Ma's own desperation, and she knows that Room cannot contain either much longer. So this is going to be pretty hard-hitting. I do think I've heard some stuff about like a strange narration style, and I'm assuming it's because Jack is narrating and he's 5, so like, sure. That could be, causing some strangeness, I guess, with how it's written, but I'm really excited to try this out. I mean, again, seems pretty hard-hitting, but if I enjoy this, I kind of want to check out the movie as well, so hopefully I will have a good time with this. That seems weird to say for the subject matter, but hopefully you know what I mean. Alright, then we have You by Carolyn Kepnes. So this is one that I have looked at forever, and now I know I have not made it a secret that I do not like second-person tense in books, so this is going to be fun for me because I think it is told in that manner. We'll find out. But here we have, when a beautiful aspiring writer strides into the East Village bookstore where Joe Goldberg works, he does what anyone would do. He Googles the name on her credit card. There's only one Guinevere Beck in New York City. She has a public Facebook account and tweets incessantly, telling Joe everything he needs to know. She's simply Beck to her friends. She went to Brown University, she lives on Bank Street, and she'll be at a bar in Brooklyn tonight. The perfect place for a chance meeting. As Joe invisibly and obsessively takes control of Beck's life, he begins quietly removing the obstacles that stand in their way. Joe will do anything to ensure Beck finds herself in his waiting arms, even if it means murder. So this is obviously like stalker stuff. But I've been really intrigued by this. I've also been intrigued by the show, but I haven't watched it yet. So at this point, like, the fact that I found the book, I'll probably read the book first and then maybe check out the show. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely one that I've heard pretty good things about in general, I think. And it sounds interesting to me, so hopefully I'll have a good time with it. So then the other thriller, book I have is The Other Woman by Sandie Jones. So I've never read anything about this author, but again, it's one, like, I've specifically looked at this book several times before and thought it sounded interesting, so I was really happy to find it there. But we have He Loves You. Adam adores Emily. Emily thinks Adam's perfect, the man she thought she'd never meet. But she loves you not. Lurking in the shadows is a rival, a woman who shares a deep bond with the man she loves. And she'll stop at nothing. So Emily chose Adam, but she didn't choose his mother, Pammy. There's nothing a mother wouldn't do for her son, and now Emily is about to find out just how far Pammy will go to get what she wants. Emily gone forever. So it's a psychological thriller about a man, his new girlfriend, and the mother who will never let him go. So that sounds intense. Again, I do love a good psychological thriller, and if I enjoy this particular book, I think this author has several more books for me to read, so I'm excited for that because, you know, I'm always looking for more books. Not that I need them, but, you know, whatever. Here we are. So then we get into, I think this is like urban fantasy-ish. So this is The Department of Sensitive Crimes by Alexander McCall Smith. I've heard some kind of strange things about this book. Like, I think it might just be different cases, so like 3 or 4 different cases, so it may not be like a coherent story, but in the Swedish criminal justice system, certain cases are considered especially strange and difficult. I feel like cue the, the Law and Order soundtrack there. So basically, the dedicated detectives who investigate these crimes are members of an elite squad known as the Sensitive Crimes Division. These are their stories. Dun dun. The team: Ulf the Wolf Varg, thoughtful and diligent; Anna, who's in love with Varg's Carr and possibly Varg too; Carl, who's eager to take on even the most dangerous paperwork; and Eric, a fly fishing expert. With the help of a rather verbose local police officer, this crack team gets to the bottom of cases others won't bother to handle, like the small matter of a man getting stabbed in the back of the knee, an imaginary boyfriend who goes missing, and what seems like a pesky werewolf keeping spa guests awake. Equal parts hilarious and heartening, The Department of Sensitive Crimes is a tour de force from a true master. So, yeah, I mean, I think that this is satire-ish, so that could work for me. I mean, it seems very strange, but comedic, but also, like, interesting mysteries? I don't know. Really don't know what to expect from this, but I had heard of it before and saw it, so I picked it up. So then I have a YA urban fantasy, and that's The Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. So Kate wants to be as ruthless as her father. After 5 years in 6 boarding schools, she's finally going home to prove that she can be. August wants to be human, but he isn't. He's a monster, one that steals souls with a song. He's one of the 3 most powerful monsters in a city overrun with him, his own father's secret weapon. Their city is divided, their city is crumbling. They're the only 2 who see both sides, the only 2 who could do something. But how do you decide to be a hero or villain when it's hard to tell which is which? So, now, I have not loved Victoria Schwab's books. Like, some of them have been okay. There has been one that I just liked enough because I hated it so much, but I saw this, and it's a series that I've actually kind of been interested in because it is urban fantasy, and we all know how much I love urban fantasy. So I'm going to go into this with, like, lower expectations, but I'm still curious to check it out. So then I have a YA retelling, and that's Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore. So basically, we have 2 characters drawn together by fate, pulled apart by truth. So for nearly a century, I think women of this particular family have tended the gardens of La Pradera, the lush estate gardens that enchant guests from around the world. They've also hidden a tragic legacy. As they fall in love too deeply, their lovers vanish. But then, after generations of vanishings, a strange boy appears in the gardens, a boy neither Estrella, the girl who finds him, nor her family know anything about. The grandmothers of this family treat him like a lost son. The mothers hope he's a sign that their vanished loves might reappear. Estrella's cousins worry, I'm assuming that's pronounced like the Spanish way, I have no idea. It could be Estrella, I guess. But I like Estrella better. Her cousins worry his presence is a warning that none of them understands, but however much the boy is an enigma to him, he's even more of a mystery to himself. All he knows about who he is or where he came from is the first 3 letters of his name. As she tries to help Fel piece together his unknown past, basically there's some secrets they're being led to, as dangerous as they are magical, in this stunning exploration of love, loss, and family. I don't know if this is actually a retelling, I could be completely off on that. But I have read some books from this author before that have been retellings. So I recognized this book and the author, so I picked it up. Then I have a romance book, and that's Virgin River by Robyn Carr. Have not watched the show, but I've heard really good things about it and happened to find the book, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll pick it up to read the book first and then probably get into the show. But anyway, so we have When the The recently widowed Melinda sees this ad for a midwife/nurse practitioner in Virgin River, which is a really small town. She quickly decides that the remote mountain town of Virgin River might be the perfect place to escape her heartache and to re-energize the nursing career she loves. But her high hopes are dashed within an hour of arriving because the cabin is a dump, the roads are treacherous, and the local doctor wants nothing to do with her. Realizing she's made a huge mistake, Mel decides to leave town the following morning. But a tiny baby abandoned on the front porch changes her plans, and former Marine Jack cements them into place. So, I don't know. Sounds good. I had picked up another Robyn Carr book from like the little free library across the street, and still haven't read that, so who knows how writing will work for me, but I saw the book, recognized the title, and picked it up. I have some contemporary books. So the first one is A Man Called, I think it's Uhaul, by Fredrik Backman. I've never read anything by this author before, but heard generally good things, and I've kind of been intrigued by it, so we'll see. I've heard that this one might be a little bit depressing and hard to get through because we have a very grumpy old man. He's a curmudgeon with starch principles, strict routines, and a short fuse. People think him bitter, and he thinks himself surrounded by idiots. His well-ordered solitary world gets a shake-up one November morning with the appearance of new neighbors, a chatty young couple, and their two boisterous daughters, who announce their arrival by accidentally hitting his mailbox with their U-Haul. What follows is a heartwarming tale of unkept cats, unlikely friendships, and a community's unexpected reassessment of the one person they thought they all had figured out. We'll see. We'll see how this goes, but it's definitely not the type of book I usually read, and admittedly, I think I've been more intrigued by Beartown because that deals with hockey. Not that I'm like a super big hockey fan, but like I feel like that seems more intriguing to me. But this is the one that I had, so I picked it up. So yeah, I mean, no clue what to expect here, but I'm curious about it. So then I picked up The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have not actually read this book. I know everybody, it seems like, has read it, but I have not. I did listen to Daisy Jones and the Six by her a couple of years ago, I think, and really enjoyed it. So I've been kind of intrigued to check this one out and happened to find it. So basically we have reclusive Hollywood icon Evelyn Hugo, who's finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses an unknown magazine reporter to write her story, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career, Monique listens in fascination. From making her way to LA in the 1950s to leaving showbiz in the 80s, and of course the seven husbands along the way, Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love. But as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in tragic and irreversible ways. So yeah, I've heard generally good things about it. Wanted to check it out, especially after enjoying Daisy Jones and the Six, so hopefully I'll like it. So then we have this pile. This is all comics. So these don't really have much of a synopsis because they are comics, but I'll show you what I picked up. So there's Pearls Sells Out. So this is a Pearls Before Swine Treasury, and I haven't read that many Pearls Before Swine comics except for like what's in the newspaper that my parents get. So I generally find them pretty funny, but yeah, I mean, they happen to have this, and again, all of these were $2, and that's insane considering how expensive these like comic collections could be. But yeah, hopefully this will be funny. And then the rest of these are all Zits comics, and I do find them pretty funny. So basically we have some of like the smaller collections. So there's Drive, so this is Sketchbook 14, there's Busted, which is Sketchbook 6, there's Zits Unzipped, which is Sketchbook number 5, then Are We and Us, which is sketchbook number 4, and then there's just Zits, which is the first sketchbook. So basically, you know, we have a teenage boy and his parents, and like, I don't know, it's just generally like the teenage experience. And I think they're pretty funny and enjoyable. And, you know, they happen to have a whole bunch of these. So then, like, the bigger collections, there's random Zits and alternative Zits. So, yeah, I mean, again, no synopsis really on these, but I do enjoy some comics, and they had a whole bunch of them, so I picked them all up. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So with that, those are all the books that I have to show you in this first part of the book haul. So let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or think you might pick them up. For your question of the day, I guess, like, what is your favorite comic going off of these? I really love Calvin and Hobbes, so that's probably my favorite, but I also really like the Far Side comics. Those are quite enjoyable. Anyway, I do have a Discord channel, and if you want to join that, the link's in the description below. I hope you're all having an excellent day and are reading something awesome. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, as that would certainly help me out. But with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up here and see you in the next one.